What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today, guys, we are going to be making none other than my top 10 picks for decks you should be thinking about playing through this month. Going through BT-15 plus this advanced deck gave you some options to actually go a little ham. So without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about my top 10, shall we? So the first deck we're going to talk about is none other than Mega Gargo Ace. So if you don't know what it does right now, it is a Blast Digi-Evolution that was introduced in the starter deck. This deck has a lot of potential and we'll see more of a top tier level once we get into the next set with its new support in the form of RideMyAvatar X antibody. Being able to have a multitude of Mega Digimon being able to climb up is huge. So with that, you get blocker, reboot. You know, this thing suspends two of your opponent's Digimon or Tamer, and then basically two of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers cannot suspend or Digivolve until the end of their turn. Being able to lock your opponent out of doing shenanigans is really important, and especially because this thing can Digivolve on top of your level 4 Rapids, you can now just create a situation where your opponent has to guess what they're going to do. Can they take out the Golden Rappa in the fear of Mega Gargo Ace coming down that could answer their board state? So that gets very important to keep an eye out on to really make people think. Quartzmon and Nidhogg are great options into the deck, I think, are very powerful ways of playing. You can just go, instead of Nidhogg, you can go into Black Mega Gargo, just because they combo really nicely with Mega Gargo Ace. So it's just potentials there, but I think Mega Kabuterimon Ace is a really strong suit for the deck as well, because at least with the deck, you get to gain some DP boost when it Digivolves, so it's a 10k, so if they're swinging on the lower end, but you can usually hit magic numbers depending on the lineup, because your rookies, especially your Terriermon here, and your Gargo or Rapidmon both give it a boost, so it becomes a 12k, so most likely, if they're swinging with an ultimate, you're really having a good answer to that threat. And I think Heaven's Judgment is just really powerful for the deck, just because it can remove threats, and we're up to 3 colors possibility, depending on what goes on. So, stuff like this. These are sample lists. They are not like tried and true, tested 100%. These are to get you thinking on what you should be looking at, but these are options for you. You can modify them how you want and improve them. But next deck we're going to talk about is none other than Metal Garurumon. Metal Garurumon is still the same old, same old. This deck is just straight up OTKU gas without really any downside, to be straight honest. You know, the deck has some protective inheritables in like the form of Garurumon X antibody. Yes, you lose out on this Garurumon X being as powerful as it was, and this Gabumon X as powerful as it was, but you know what, that's just how Bandai decided to do it. 4 eggs are really good because you still want at least 4, but you still want to see Buku at a higher consistency as it's one of, because then you get to climb up and just do the shenanigans. And you know, even with the new Metal Garurumon from BT-15 security, you know, the evade, being able to when Digivolving 3 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers cannot suspend until the end of your opponent's turn, and then when this Digimon becomes suspended, you may unsuspend it once per turn. You know what? It's a really powerful threat on its own right. You know, having the Garurumon from EX1 with the Gabumon, hopefully you hit the mat. You don't really need to play them. You could just go with the Draw Garu, but that's up to you. How you want to build the deck is how you want to build the deck, but this is a sample list just to get your minds thinking and benefiting to create. Then we do have a Shine Greymon list. This is just a basic list to get you going, to get you thinking about, you know, a delicate plan just to clear out security options when you start swinging with your Digimon. You got like Marcus's being able to punch in. You know, there's a multitude of options, a way to build Shine Greymon. You could go this Shine Greymon or go with BT3 Shine Greymon with Ruin Mode, be able to just suspend your Marcus's, warp up quickly, free climb, because when you suspend, you can get a free Digi-Evolution out of it, and then leads to being some crazy shenanigans there. So all in all, just plenty of options to go by, but starter list here, I think this is pretty solid to get you guys going. And then you have Mirage Galgamon. So Galgamon is pretty simple here. It did get hit. We're going to go with Boko at 1 and 5 Wanyas. You do need to get your combo pieces as soon as possible. But now, instead of worrying about the Galmon line, we are just focusing on Betamons to give the jamming inheritable, Gomamon to come out if need be. We lose it, and then Gomamon here, just when a card is added to your opponent's hand, gain a memory, just to help keep it your turn. You know, the Galgamons are just your champion lineup. You have Mecha Galgamon, Zudamon Ace to help strip sources, and hopefully bounce something to your opponent's hand, which would lead to activating Mirage Galga skills, and that's all that you're going to do. You're just going to be comboing off. You're going to OTK, similar to Shine Greymon Ruin Mode. You focus with your Tamers using Burst Evolution to do that. So, all in all, really solid. Then we have Fenry Lugamon. So if you don't know what Fenry does, he's just basically here to keep it your turn, because one of your conditions is until the end of your turn. The condition to end your turn becomes your opponent has 3 or more memory. Really solid there. So stuff like that is very important. Like the new Tyranno is very important. It just reads the top 4. Add 1 Digimon and Tamer with SOC in its traits from your among them to your hand. Return the rest of the bottom deck. And then if you added a card, trash 1 card in your hand. Just cycles really nice. You use like Fangmon to get pieces back. And all in all, deck has multiple ways of multi-attacking and, you know, spitting out bodies, especially being able to keep it your turn more often than not is huge. Then we have Levon X. This is from the second place list. I liked it a lot because it does use Raremon. Raremon's just an on-play. Basically, by trashing 1 card in your hand, draw 2 cards. So, very vital, but deck focuses on basically using like Biting Crush to get your Leviamon ready into the grave as soon as possible once it is in your hand. So that's why I use Wisdom and Purple Mem Boost to get it faster. The next antibody to tuck under just to go into Levon X antibody, which can lead to being very scary plays, because when the Leviamon comes in, it deletes a Tamer, but it also deletes one of your opponent's 3, 5, and 7. So it combos with 7 Lightning. That'll get the 4 and 6. So that's very important to keep in mind. But it gains it hits for 3 security checks, which is scary as can be. And its condition is if your opponent has more than you do, which is important because sometimes that does come up. But, you know, like Leviamon as well gives at least 2 security checks, and then it deletes one of your opponent's Digimon. If your opponent has as many or more total Digimon or Tamers as you, delete one of your opponent's highest level, then delete one of your opponent's lowest level. And then when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain 1 memory for each card deleted. So Leviamon just comes out popping from the Biting Crush, and it just all gets crazy, especially because you can use Dragomon and Octomon to really play something, and Waro to play something on your opponent as well. So that'll combo off with your Biting Crush, activating, getting your Leviamon ready to just snap back at them. I like the Guilmon with Rush because you can meet that condition super easily. So there's a lot of potential in the list, and who knows how you're going to play it. Then we have Bloom Lord. So with Quantums, Bloom Lords, and stuff like that, this card I did not think about adding into the deck in the original place, but I think this one actually becomes really useful because it is a 3000 DP that you can play for free. Suspend 1 Tamer, none of your opponent's Tamers can unsuspend until they are in turn. Locking down with Chamblemon is very vital, especially in like green tournaments as well. And he gets bigger on his own accord too. So that helps out, especially for removal with DP. You can get bigger really quickly. You know, the deck is plain and simple. It likes to spit out wide boards and just go for it from there. I know the New World is kind of interesting. If you have a Mimi in play, you may play a Palmon from your hand without paying its cost to return one of your Mimis to your hand, to its owner's hand. So stuff like that does matter and come up sometime, because replaying a Mimi, especially if you gain a bunch of free memory off Bloom Lord, it could mean that suspended Mimi that hatched something now can get reused twice. So stuff like that does come up. And, you know, like you have Pumamon to shut down any purple matchup that with Leviamon X and stuff like that, just shuts them down really nicely. So very important. You know, Quantumon, really a great card in the deck. I mean, you take out a New World if you want to play 2 Quantums. That's where I would just say, but deck's really solid, very scary. Then you do have red hybrid shenanigans. So using Ukumon with Koromon, you're just going to be speeding up your clock anyway. So you're going to go ver, ver, burr, 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 and just really just go fast on them. There's no reason why you shouldn't be. I mean, you can take Solarmon out and be Gutsumon, just because your opponent can't play Digimon by effect. But Garudamon, definitely Ace helps out, especially because it can pop a blocker if you played a Tamer. But also sets you up on your opponent's turn when they swing. You can get a Tamer ready and online sooner. So, put your opponent on a little fancy clock. Nothing too scary, but, you know, Garudamon Ace is a Garudamon Ace. Then we have Setcon showing its ugly head. Setcon definitely showed its marks and, you know, ready to go at any corner of the matchups in the tournaments. So this was the first place list. So taking that into account, just think about when you're playing. You know, Kari's still beneficial with the fact that when one of your security is reduced, you may spend or gain a memory. So applies pressure on your opponent, especially when they swing in. That can lead to being very scary for them because it puts them on a clock. And then Digimon Emperor, just for the Ukubon plays, or when your opponent wants to move up a rookie up, they're going to have to Digivolve first if Emperor's on the board. TK and Kari, just to gain the extra 2 memory if you're fewer than your opponent, which is very hard to get to sometimes, but later on in the game, sometimes that does happen. And then you have like Kari itself to set your memory up. You know, Lone K plus Chaos Degradation are your major removals. But Revelation of Light is always scary because all your opponent's Digimon and Security Digimon get minus 5,000 DP until the end of turn. So this makes wide boards kind of start dwindling down fast. And then Lament of Friendship is play this card without paying its cost until the end of your turn. Return one Digimon from your trash to your hand, then one of your Garurumons. But it's returning the card from your trash to your hand is really vital because it gets you to reuse pieces. So, all in all, great stuff going for this list. So give it a try if you want to make no friends. Then, that's kind of all we got to talk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I missed a list. Give me a sec. I'm missing a list. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's rude. Where's my list? Oh, here it is. Final list. I knew I was missing a list. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? I missed you so. There you go. Nope. Nope. Yes, there we go. And then final list we're going to talk about is the Numon deck. So Numon's very interesting, especially because if you can get this Platinum Numon in trash as soon as possible, combos really nicely with Levon X. So you may play one Digimon card with Numon in its name from your trash without paying its cost. So this is very important because when Numon goes in for it, you get this Platinum Nume. Since it has an on-play trash 1 card with Numon in hand to gain 2 memory. The deck goes burr really quickly. It's an aggro-based deck, kind of Rookie Rush style of play. And, you know, you have your backups in the form of Mumsymon X. You know, when another Digimon is played, for each of your Digimon, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 DP for until the end of your opponent's turn. And then you have like Mumsy, this one gives minus 3,000 DP and security attack one until the end of their turn, which is very vital because now you can combo really nicely with Waro Mumsy as well to de-digivolve and make the threats smaller. So stuff like this does add up. You can use X Antibody Protoform to combo in nicely with Mumsymon X. You know, I mean, it's not terrible because at least then it can digivolve these guys for a little bit cheaper, which sometimes that's all you kind of need to happen. But, you know, Jinrymon is just there to draw 2 cards when you trash a Suke. You know, Jinrymon is just basically by trashing one Numemon or Sukamon in its name, one of your opponent's Digimon gets like security attack 1- until the end of the turn. Just stuff that adds up, especially when you're comboing with Venusmon. So all in all, good stuff here. I think there's a lot of potential going into the format. So what did you guys think? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace!